Yes. So, starting with OSI model, can you tell me what is OSI model? What are
Mm,
your understandings from OSI model?
it's open system interconnection model, and we study about those 7 layers. You know,
Mhm. What are those 7 layers?
like physical data link. It was networking, transcript, session, presentation, and application.
Transportation, session, presentation, and
Yeah,
application.
yeah.
What is the best way to remember these layers?
All people should try new Domino's pizza.
Perfect.
Oh, say it again, please, because I was not on that class. All
All people should try new
New
Domino's
Domino's pizza.
pizza.
should try new Domino's pizza. Yes. APSTNDP. Yes.
Or also there
Sounds
is
easy, right?
please do not
Mhm.
throw sauce's pizza away
Ye-
because that's how I used to
Yes.
remember it.
Yeah. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
do have
Oh, the
that.
reverse one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Mhm.
version.
So you can like this is the networking fundamental. Okay, so in case if these questions come up, this can be your first or second question during the interview. They just want to check if you have that networking background clear during the
Mm.
interviews. So such questions can come up during interviews, and this is one of the basic reference model when it comes to troubleshooting any issues. All right. So OSI model is nothing but open system interconnection. It is like a framework, like a blueprint that is going to explain how data is traveling from one device to another device over a network. Okay. So we had 7 layers: application, presentation, session, transport, network, data link, and physical layer. So there are different naming conventions. You can pick any one of them. Don't confuse. And remember the sequence exactly. Now, what is the purpose of application layer? Let's quickly jump onto that.
So application layer is basically like a bridge between the endpoint and
Mhm,
the user that is trying to access the target domain.
mhm.
Actually, server, we could say like server and target domain.
Okay. This is a layer which you users interact with, right? It is going to provide you services. It is going to, you open your web browser. What is that? An application layer. Web browsers, Gmail, WhatsApp, anything that you want to communicate with the other users. The layer which users interact with is the application layer. It can be Outlook, Microsoft Teams, anything. And there are protocols involved in this. What type of protocols do you remember from application layer?
There's
STP,
SMTP, FTP, HTTP.
Correct. The things that you type on the URL, right? HTTP, HTTPS, all these are protocols which are used under this application layer. So the layer which users are going to interact with. So when you open Google in Chrome, the request starts at application layer.
So it
Okay,
does
this
not
is where
actually
humans.
refer to the actual software, right?
No, it's not the software, it's the layer. It's the application layer that you are interacting with. This is where the humans interact with the network. Therefore, it is known as application layer. Okay. The next one that you have is presentation layer. What was presentation layer?
Translate, format, encrypt, decrypt, compress, and
It's
decompress
data,
data.
translates,
Yes.
encrypts the data.
Mhm.
It mostly does the SSL encrypting, any
Yes.
HTTPS traffic.
What does the name suggest? Presentation. How your data should look, right? Formatting of your data. Should it be in encrypted format? Should it be decrypted? Will that be compressed? Suppose I'm sending a keyword hi. Should hi look like this on the network itself? No, this should be decrypted, right? Because if this is a sensitive message, it
Yes.
should not be sent in the plain text. That should be encrypted first, right? If it is going to take too much of bits and bytes to transmit, it should be compressed. And at the user end, that should be compression, decompression should take place. Encryption, decryption should take place. So for example, if I am speaking in Hindi with you guys and you understand only English, we need a translator, right, to convert this message. That is what this presentation layer is doing. That was the functionalities of presentation layer. Next one that we have is session layer. What was session layer?
It's like an end of communications.
So it basically starts,
Mhm.
manages, and terminates the session.
Or ends communications seasons.
Yes. Always remember of a phone call, right? The
Mhm.
call starts, conversation happens, and then call ends. That's the session layer functionality, I would say. When you join any meeting, for example, this meeting that you have joined, we have started the session, now we are communicating, and at the end, we will end the communication and we will leave. So, creating, managing, and terminating communication session is the main functionality of session layer.
Mhm.
All right. Which was the next one?
Transport layer.
Transport layer. Yeah. Anyone on transport layer?
It's like a TCP
Mhm.
ensures our data deliveries or
End-to-end communication.
mm,
End-to-end communication. One word definition, end-to-end communication, responsible for your data delivery, reliable data delivery. Okay. Now in transport layer, we saw two main protocols. Which were those?
TCP,
And
UDP.
yes. What was the purpose of TCP and UDP? What is the difference between them?
TCP is like
So
TCP is
TCP is
reliable.
more like a reliable,
Mhm.
and I think the data loss is not acceptable in TCP.
Okay.
And in the UDP, so it is faster
Mhm.
compared to the TCP.
Okay.
And TCP follows a TCP handshake
Mhm. Why TCP is called reliable?
Um,
because
because
of
it gets
the
the
key
the
steps.
data sent is reliable to the receiver,
Mhm.
because it sends the confirmation, right?
Mhm.
or is the data sent is reliable to
it's
the
lower than UDP. That's why.
It's because of the acknowledgement.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because it gets the acknowledgement, the
It's
confirmation.
acknowledgement. Mhm.
Yeah.
Who said that because it is slower than UDP? How come if it is slower than UDP, it is going to be reliable?
No, like slower means like easy access, something like that.
Mhm.
The process is slow, right?
Process is slow. Why? Because what is taking place?
Because it's sending like the acknowledgement, the
Trans-
confirmation has been sent.
Yes.
Mhm.
Always it has to initiate a three-way handshake before starting or initiating a communication.
Okay.
Right? Do you remember three-way handshake?
Yes.
Synchronization
Wha-
packet
Mhm.
Synchronization and synchronization
acknowledgement.
acknowledgement and then
Mhm.
acknowledgement.
Acknowledgement.
Yes. Right. So TCP ensures reliable data delivery, whereas UDP is for faster data delivery. It does not care about the data being received in a right format or completely. You don't get an acknowledgement of that. That is the major difference. All right. Faster delivery without any guarantee, that is UDP. So where do you use UDP? Any examples of UDP?
Like streaming, gamings,
The live
Mhm.
streaming that you mentioned, right?
Okay.
The live
Yes.
streaming that
gamings,
happens.
Yeah. And about TCP?
like email and file
Mhm.
transfers.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Any websites you are using?
yeah, and like web browsers.
Mhm. Right. So what are the functionalities of transport layer when we talk about end-to-end delivery? What will be the functionalities? Do you remember segmentation?
Yes,
Right.
basically data gets segmented before it is sent.
Mhm.
And error detection and recovery.
Mhm.
Mm,
So it sends the data in segments, and if any pieces is missing, it's just make sure like it's been resent again.
Yes. So when you have multiple pages or multiple statements to be sent, transport layer is going to split them into smaller pieces. That smaller pieces are numbered, and they are made sure that at the delivery end or at the receiving end, those are received in proper format, in proper sequence.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
All right. That was transport layer. Next one that we have is network layer. One of the most important and core layer in this OSI model was our network layer. What is
network layer.
network layer responsible for?
It's like a data between networks and using IP address. Mostly using IP address.
Mhm.
So it's for to move the data or the packets between the different networks.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
basically from one host to across different networks.
Okay. Always remember, network layer means which path to take, which route to take to transmit your data, right? We discussed about highways, airways, railways, right, during the learning of network layer. So this particular layer is responsible for transmitting and routing your data through networks, between the networks rather. So your IP addresses, what device is involved on this layer?
Router.
Router.
Routers, right? So for example, I want to transmit my data from India to USA. How am I going to do that? Am I going to send it via Germany, or am I going to send it via New York, or Russia somewhere? That depends what route I'm taking. Always remember that GPS Google example that mentioned, right?
Mhm.
That was your network layer. Next one was
Data
data
link.
link layer. What was the purpose?
It transfers the data between the
Do devices like device to device.
Device on the
device
same
and the same
network.
network.
Mhm.
This layer decide who should receive the bits sent from layer
Label.
1.
Okay.
And it's also find the error, like something wrong or not, like error detections.
Mhm. Now, network layer, we saw that we are transmitting or routing data from one network to another
The
network.
network.
This is called inter-network communication. And this one, data link layer. Here,
It
you are
transfer
transmitting
data.
data in the same
Same
network. It
network.
is responsible for communication between the same network. It's like happening in the same network. So which device will be involved here?
Mm.
Here we used routers,
Switch.
right?
Router switch. Yeah.
Oh,
Here we use switch.
switch.
Always remember your home router example, home switch example. You communicate on devices with switch. So switch
Switch.
comes on data link layer. And nowadays there are also layer 3 switch, okay? So don't
Mhm.
get confused. Layer 3 switch can act on both data link as well as network layer. What is the main functionality of data link layer? It is going to perform MAC addressing. It is going to perform framing. What is MAC address? What is IP address? What is the difference between them?
MAC
Like
address
IP,
is the
IP
physical
address
device.
cannot be the same.
And IP addresses like
It's a
The
logical
MAC address
address.
has to be same.
Okay. Logical address, physical address, permanent address,
Mhm.
temporary address, right? You have discussed all these things. And last one was your physical layer.
Can you repeat the data link layer one more time? Because I missed the first
Sure.
3 layers. So
Mhm.
can you repeat that one more time, please?
Okay. So data link layer, first of all, it is your second layer.
Mhm.
All right. Which comes above physical layer and below networking layer. Now this layer is responsible for delivering your data between devices which are connected on the same network. We used layer 3 to communicate between networks. Now for example, I want to transmit this data to you. I'm sitting on a different network, you are sitting on a different network. We will need IP address to initiate the communication. All right.
Mhm.
But when you're on the same network, for example, your house, is your data going outside the network?
Mhm.
When you want to communicate within, like from your mobile to your laptop, when you are connected on the same network, is it necessary for your data to go on the outside world or do a different network and then come back?
No.
No.
No, right? So this thing happen with the help of switch. There you need MAC addresses to communicate with each other. MAC addresses means this is a permanent address on your network.
Okay.
I know which exact device on my local network should receive this data, right?
Mhm.
Therefore, when it is discussed on the same network, you go for data link. Whereas your network layer, they will use IP address to find the destination network. Here you will use MAC addresses. That is the major difference, MAC addresses and IP addresses.
So
Now, for
data link
example,
use MAC address or IP?
yes,
Data link
they
use
use MAC address.
data link
Yes,
and network use IP address.
yes.
Okay.
Now let's take an example of a building.
Mhm.
Okay, your network layer is going to know the address of the building. Your data link layer, network layer is going to tell you the complete building address. Okay, like on XYZ street, on this ABC block, XYZ building, that is the address. But data link layer knows exactly what apartment number you want to deliver that product on. For example, 102. So exact number, exact flat number.
Okay.
So for example, there is an Amazon delivery guy. He wants to deliver a product. He
Mhm.
knows the address, but he doesn't know the apartment number. How difficult will it be for him to deliver that?
Yeah.
Right? So without that apartment number or that flat number, that delivery person will reach the building. That is fine. But he doesn't know which flat to deliver that product on, where to deliver that. So
Okay.
your data link layer is going to help there for MAC addressing. Now
Mhm.
the transmission on this layer happens on frames. We have seen that on network layer you used to send data as packets,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
Data link layer is going to take that packet and wrap it on a additional information. If you remember, this is the flow that we go on, right? Because
Right.
this was the layer users are communicating with. So we are
Correct.
going in this format. So
Okay.
on network layer, we send the data via packets. So data link layer is going to wrap up some additional information to it, restructuring it as frame. Suppose network layer is sending something like hello. So data layer is going to add source MAC address, destination MAC address, and if any error is there, any error checking needs to be done on that. So additional information. It already has that building address. You're just giving it a apartment number.
Okay.
That entire structure where your destination MAC address, source MAC address, and data is wrapped up together, that is called a frame.
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. The last one that you have was physical layer, the easiest one. What was the physical layer?
As the one who transmits the raw bits over physical media
Yes.
or convert it to digital signal like 0 or 1.
Uh-huh. Your data representation happens with only two things, zeros and ones. Only zeros and ones. So this layer, your physical layer, is responsible for transmitting these raw bits, that is zeros and ones. What mediums do you use to transmit this data?
Bits.
Mm,
Like Wi-Fi,
There can
hardware,
be
Ethernet
Wi-Fi,
cable,
Ethernet cable.
and power
cable,
cables.
optic
Mhm.
cable.
fiber optic cables, Ethernet cables, Wi-Fi's.
Mhm.
These are physical components on which you are transmitting those zeros and ones. We discussed about a dumb device. What was that dumb device called as?
Hub.
Hub, right? Why was hub called a dumb device?
Because it followed transmission to all the devices instead of some selected devices.
Uh-huh. Instead of sending message to one single destination, it used to broadcast the message.
Mhm.
It's called broadcasting, right? So once this information, this goes from sender. This is the sender end. Same things. This is the approach at receiving end. Okay. Interaction with application layer. It goes in this trend, and then at the receiving end, again, physical layer, data link layer, network layer, all these things. This is how your data is flowing. And remember, this is a conceptual concept. It's a framework. It's like a blueprint of your building.
Mhm.
Okay, it doesn't exist, but it exists. You know the reason why it exists. It is for us to understand how data is flowing from one end to
One
another.
another.
Okay. So in simple terms, when you type a message, it's application layer. That message gets encrypted over the network. That is presentation layer. Then you maintain a session to
Mhm.
discuss, open a chat or open a call. That session is maintained. That is session layer. That message is split into different segments, and that segments are delivered. Then you have to find IP address to find the
Back.
destination. MAC address is used to find it in the local network, and then the data travels from electrical or any wireless signals. That is physical layer. Okay, so that was OSI layer.
Yeah. Earlier in the class, like in the beginning of the class, you said like, how do we remember this? All the
Uh,
level
all people should try new Domino's pizza.
should try new Domino's pizza.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
yes. There is also one that a sausage version. If you want, you can remember that. This is something I learned, so I'm teaching it to you. I
Okay.
believe that was more easy to remember.
Right.
But don't always talk about this. This is for you to, yes, Pawan has mentioned it in the chat.
Do not.
Please do not throw sausage pizzas away. So if you can remember that.
Okay.
Whenever such questions, there is a rare possibility that this question will come up because this is networking concept. Okay, it won't be asked in cybersecurity, but for the fundamentals, if they ask you about OSI model, do not give this example. Okay, it is for you to remember. Don't
Yeah, at
talk
least
about
it's easy to
pizzas.
remember.
Yeah, don't
It's so
talk
easy
about
to
pizzas and
remember.
burgers there.
That's true.
All right. All right. Okay. Now let's jump on to the new topic. We'll talk about vulnerabilities, threats, risk. Let me remove this. Yes. Yes. A thin line between these three terms looks very familiar, right? Threat, risk, and vulnerabilities. Though they have different purpose, different definitions, different meanings, what are your understandings from threat? Let's hear it from you first. What do you understand from a threat? How will you define a threat?
Something that can what do you call that can exploit
That
Mhm.
can
or
cause
has
harm.
a
Muslim.
harmful system.
Something that could
Mhm.
be malicious.
Okay. Let's start with an example first. Always easy to remember. Okay. Let's say you are going to buy a new house. Okay, there is inauguration and you have spent a lot of money on it. There is expensive interiors that you have done, you know, fancy beds, interiors, cupboards, everything. You have installed new TV. There are washing machine, refrigerators, everything. It's all done. It's you have spent a lot of money on it.
Mhm.
Now think of few questions that can come up on your mind. You have built so much, you have spent so much on this. What about the security part? Who can harm your house? What weaknesses exist in your house? What could happen because of that weakness? Let's say you build house, you have kept every possible appliances which are available in the market, but you forget to install a door, main door. There is no main door in your house. Sounds dumb, right? So to answer these questions, you have see three simple terms: threat, risk, and vulnerability. Now, what is a threat? Something that has potential to cause damage. Something that has potential to make a loss or disruption. That is a threat. Threat is not going to cause damage immediately. No, it has the capability to cause harm. Understand this term.
Mhm.
It is like a danger which is waiting for an opportunity. For example, there is a thief in your neighborhood somewhere. Has he stolen anything from your house yet? No. But can he?
Yes.
Definitely. So that thief.
Right.
He is a threat
Right.
because he has that ability. He has that intention to cause the damage. That is a threat. From cybersecurity point of view, I'll give you one example. Let's say uh, you have a website. Your company has a website. Okay. Somewhere in any another country, hackers are there. They're trying to scan the websites, trying to look out for weaknesses, vulnerabilities, and weaknesses on the website so that they can hack your systems. Has that attack occurred yet? No.
No.
But is there a possibility that these people on the other, for example, you guys own www.example.com. This is the website that you own. You are protecting it in your country. But what about my country? Is there a possibility that hackers from my country can hack into this? Yes. So the attackers, they are threat here. There is a possibility that hack can take place. Is it a mandatory thing? No.
No.
So these threats can be any threats. It can be human threats, threats which are caused by people, hackers, criminals, insiders. There can be malware threats, a software which is designed to cause a harm. We have seen multiple types of viruses, this malwares, right? There was virus, there was worm, Trojan, spyware. Each of them had a different functionality. There were physical threats. Now, not necessarily always hackers and malwares has to do the work, right? What if there is a wire cut down? What if there is a power failure, a theft, flood, there is earthquake? These are physical threats that can take place. So threat is nothing but something which has potential to cause harm. Okay, there
So
can
in a
be lightning, storms, heat waves, anything. Anything which has potential to cause the harm. That is a threat.
so in a sense, we can say that we can protect ourselves easily from a threat.
You
Because
can protect. No, I won't say that
Mhm.
because you don't know that threat even exists.
Okay.
If there is no vulnerability, of course threat won't exist.
Okay.
You will be more secured when you know that your house has a door, right? A
Right.
safety door as well.
Mhm.
So you'll be more confident on that case. It's not that you're 100% protected. You'll be
Right.
more confident.
Confident.
Okay. Now, what is a vulnerability?
It is a weakness in a system which can be damaged easily or hacked easily.
Okay. Weakness in a system. All right.
Flaw or weakness, anything.
It can be a flaw, it can be a weakness, something which can be exploited by a threat. Remember, I'm relating these two terms now. When a threat, when a vulnerability is exploited, or there is a possibility that a vulnerability is exploited, it is a threat. Okay. So it is basically a door that should have been closed, which was left open. It is a vulnerability. It is a weakness. It is a flaw. It is a gap which can be exploited by a threat. Can a vulnerability itself make a damage?
No.
No. It will create an opportunity. Now, the house that you have built, right? When you have not installed the door, that is that is a flaw, right? That is a weakness in your architecture. You have built a wrong structure. How can you build a house without a door? So it is a vulnerability which is existing in your. Is it necessary to have a door in house? No, I've visited places. Now in India, I'll tell you, there are places in northeast where people don't have house. Like they have house, but they don't have doors. They simply keep one some like what you call
Curtain.
like curtains. Yeah, they keep curtains. They don't have doors at their house. Have you heard of it? Have you seen these things?
Yes.
I believe somewhere in Nepal also, like they have this belief that doors should not be kept. I don't know the exact reason behind it, but Yeah. So they think that there is no vulnerability. No one is going to cause harm because of it. That is a flaw according to us, right? When you want to protect something expensive in your house, it is mandatory to have doors. If the main door lock is broken, or if there is no door at all, it can be exploited. So broken door or broken lock itself is not dangerous, but the opportunity it gives to that thief, that is a vulnerability. So it's like a flaw. Let's say in cybersecurity example, let's say you are running a server. Okay, there is a software running on a server, and that server is not patched for 2 years. The outdated software contains security flaws. Everybody in the country knows about those flaws. So is it possible that attackers they can know or use known techniques to exploit that server? Yes, that is a weakness, that is a vulnerability. I'll give you real time example, something which I usually work on day to day in my life. Okay, we are working on an environment which is related to AWS. This can be difficult for some of you to understand, but just try to understand. These are the things which I work on every day. Recently I have been working on yesterday's case I'm talking about. There was a server, or there is a server in our environment which was created 7 years ago. Okay, it's a EC2 instance on AWS platform. It's a cloud vulnerability. Okay, there was a machine on AWS which was created 7 years ago, and it has not been used since 6 years now. For first year they used it, but after that the usage stopped. Now what is the drawback that you see here? It's not been used since 6 years. What do you think will be the drawback here?
Like a outdated
Outdated.
Outdated versions? Anything else? Unnecessary resources are being used. Unnecessary cost has to be given to the vendors, right? Let me explain you with a simple example. Let's say you have built that house, right? Completely, all the interiors and everything is there. Now you take a new cupboard and you try to place it somewhere in the hall, your main hall. You have used it for 1 year to store things, but after that you removed all the things, and just that all your what you say, things that you stored in that cupboard, you have moved it, you have shifted it to bedrooms and everything. Just that empty cupboard is sitting in your hall for years now, 6 years. That cupboard is there in your hall. Is it taking unnecessary space?
Yes.
Yes. Is your money being wasted there? Yes. You invested a lot buying that cupboard, right? But it is of no use. No one is using it. Same thing was happening with this resource. It was outdated. 6 year, nobody used it, nobody updated it, nobody restarted it. There exist 17,648 vulnerabilities on that server, which we patched yesterday. We asked the owners for that application to upgrade it, or if no one is going to use it, rather decommission it. Decommission it means uninstall it, no use. So technically, I am working on my security posture to be less vulnerable by 17,468 vulnerabilities. Clear? So that is how vulnerability plays a part. And you are going to get lot of questions, especially in blue teaming roles, about vulnerabilities. What is a vulnerability? Now, for example, if there is a weak password, we have discussed about brute force, right? Password attacks, brute force. If there is a weak password, someone is using password like admin123. What is this? This is a weak password. This is a common vulnerability. Attackers, they can guess it easily, right? If there are the example that I gave, if there is nothing used since years, if there are patches missing, software vendors, they will have to regularly release security updates. Why do you get updates on your mobiles or any websites frequently to update? Because there are security patches. Why do you need to deploy these security patches? Because there are vulnerabilities. Attackers are getting smarter. We have to be one step ahead of them, the defense people, right? We need to patch these things. When these updates are not installed, attackers, they can exploit. The next thing after this topic which we are going to learn will be more clear to you what these vulnerabilities are, how these vulnerabilities are known to attackers. We'll discuss about those terms after these three things or these three terminologies are clear to you. Okay. Now write down the reasons that a vulnerability can exist. I'll just give it here. It can be, we discussed about weak passwords, right? What else was there? Patches, or I call missing patches. What else can be a reason for a vulnerability to occur? Human errors. Let's say you are building a website and you don't use HTTPS. Instead, you are using or you are hosting it on HTTP. It's a human error that you are doing, right? Your information is being sent on a plain text. What is this? Vulnerability. There can be system misconfigurations. Now, system misconfiguration means I'm giving you a very, very dumb example, okay? You are aware that there is threat in the outside world and you are planning to install a door in that house now. But instead of installing it from your end, you are installing it from the outside end. You are locking yourself inside the house. That is a security misconfiguration. You have configured it incorrectly. Okay, so there in real time examples, I'm deliberately keeping some ports open. I'm giving unnecessary permissions to everyone. This is security misconfiguration. We talked about privilege escalation, right? Do you remember privilege escalations, or what was that thing? uh,
Yes,
Giving more
that.
informations to your freshers and all, right? We discussed about that example.
Yes.
Yes, so that is also a security misconfiguration. That is another cause of vulnerability. So we can add security misconfiguration here. Anything that you can remember
Natural
for
disaster.
vulnerability? Yeah, which one?
Natural disaster.
Natural disaster. Yeah, you can say so, but how is natural disaster? Now we are talking from security point of view, okay? How is natural disaster going to be a vulnerability in your website?
Leading to infrastructure.
Infrastructure can be there.
Mhm.
Yes, we can say so. Anything else?
OS versions, Windows 7, Windows 8, could be Android.
Older versions. So that is covered in the patching itself, right? If you're using older versions, Windows 7, Windows 8, that's the missing patch, right? When you update it to the latest version, that will be fixed. For example, on Windows 7, there were 10,000 vulnerabilities. Okay, that was a missing patch. You restarted the device, patch was available, you upgraded it. Now there are 3000 vulnerabilities on the newer version. So less vulnerabilities, right? Less chances of getting hacked. So that comes under missing patches only. What about multi-factor authentication? If there are weak passwords used, okay, understandable. You have kept admin at 123. But if multi-factor authentication is used, that will if it is not used, it is going to make your attacker's job easy, right? No confirmation, nothing is needed. He will bypass everything and he will enter. So if multi-factor authentication is not used, that is another vulnerability. Coding flaws. We discussed about secure coding practices, right? You can add it in this category itself, human errors, security coding practices, secure coding practices. It's a human error. You deliberately write a function or a piece of code which is vulnerable. We have seen this in malwares, right? Writing a piece of code, making a software which is vulnerable, deliberately done things. So these are some causes for a vulnerability to exist. Okay. Clear what is threat, what is vulnerability?
Yes.
Okay. Now risk. What is a risk? Have you taken risk in your life sitting in this class? Yes. What do you think?
Potential loss.
Potential loss. Okay.
Say the door is open, that's threat, and now you're vulnerable and someone gets into your house, takes your stuff. That's risk. That's risk.
Now I'll relate these three things. Okay. Let me clear this unnecessary stuff. Will be easy for you to understand. Now we are talking about risk. Risk is the possibility that threat will exploit the vulnerability and cause harm. I repeat, risk is the possibility that threat will exploit a vulnerability and cause damage. Now, in our example,
Yes.
risk is a possibility that thief will exploit the vulnerability. What is the vulnerability? In our house, we don't have a door. That
We
is a
took a risk.
vulnerability, right?
Yes.
Yes. So
We
he
took a
has
risk.
taken that risk possibly
Yeah.
to cause the damage or to steal something from your house.
Yeah.
So this is what your businesses, your companies care about. Organizations, they know, companies, they know that there exists vulnerability in their environment. They don't lose sleep because of that. Organizations or companies, they lose sleep because a vulnerability may be exploited and cause a loss. That is the risk. So thief, he is a threat. Okay, the broken door or no door in your house, that is a vulnerability. And risk is something that that thief enters and steals valuables from your house. That is a risk. That is a possibility of that risk. So there is a very thin line between these three terms. And this is one of the important questions asked in interviews. Can you please tell me the difference between threat and vulnerability? Can you tell me the difference between risk and vulnerability? I was asked this question around 4 to 5 times in my entire career for whatever interviews I have given. Difference between threat, risk, and vulnerability. Okay. Another example I'll give you from cybersecurity point of view. Let's say there is a group of hackers. That is a threat. Vulnerability exists that employees are not trained in your company. They are just sitting there doing their job. They are not aware about phishing mails or anything. That is a vulnerability. Human error, right? If you are not scaled enough, you are going to click on any link. You are going to get phished. So employees clicking on that malicious attachment and then your company is getting that encrypted messages, ransomware attacks. That is a risk. Clear? There is these three terms. Anything that you want me to repeat here? Easy to understand these three terms?
Yeah.
Can you repeat the second example one more time? Like the group of hackers is like
Uh-huh.
trying to steal the information. I mean, the vulnerability will be the employees which is not trained, right?
Uh-huh.
And
See,
okay,
the last example that I explained, that is what you want me to explain again, right?
correct.
Okay. Let's say you are working in a company. Okay.
Uh-huh.
You are a CEO of that company. You have hired people, you have hired 100 people, and now they are working. These are dumb people. They don't know about security anything. They are just coding day in, day out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they have nothing to do with security. Now, one day, let's say Aga has a group of attackers and he's your rival. He decides that he is going to attack on your company. It's going to be a cyber attack. He has group of 10 hackers. So you are aware that Aga is your enemy. He is your rival company. You know that this is like a risk that he can attack on my company. Anyone can attack on anyone's company, right? I can attack on any company that I want. I can be a attacker. I can be a hacker. Now, what is the vulnerability in your company? That your employees are dumb. They are not trained, right?
Yeah.
The 100 employees that you have hired, they are not trained. So what Aga plans? He tells or he informs his army of 10 people that go send them a simple phishing mail. I know those employees are not trained. What these attackers will do, they will bombard those emails on your company's website. Now this is a vulnerability, right? That your employees are not trained. Now what is the risk here?
Attacking on the company.
No, risk here is that your dumb employees will click on those malicious
Yeah,
attachments.
malicious.
That is the risk. Is it necessary that this risk will be carried out? No. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Company getting encrypted and your employees clicking on that link is the next part. But that risk exists, right?
Right.
So basically, it's something like a Sony hack.
Huh, you can say so.
Oh, yeah.
Clear?
Yes. Aga, please
in
don't attack me, okay?
huh?
I'm just saying, Aga, please don't attack me.
No, that was just a simple example.
No,
Okay.
I was just kidding.
So in your companies, like in today's world, you have risk management roles.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So what is expected in this role in cybersecurity? It is a process in which you're going to identify, you're going to analyze and you have to make efforts to reduce this risk before they cause any harm to your organization.
Okay.
It's like vulnerability management roles are also there. They are going to find weaknesses in your organization. Risk management decides which weakness is important, which one to fix first, how critical it can be. Right? If you have built a house and there is no doors in that house, which door do you think is more important, that bathroom door or your main door?
Right.
Main door, right? So that is your priority. You have to fix that one first. That is what this risk management people will do.
The risk
No
analysis.
company has lot of resources, lot of money, unlimited time to protect it. No, there will be thousands of vulnerabilities, threats, and issues in your organization. Your risk management people will have to answer which is the most dangerous one, which should be fixed first, which can be accepted, because not everything can be patched, right?
Mhm.
If you are building a house and there is small crack in one of the walls, that is a vulnerability. Okay, understandable. But is that vulnerability acceptable? Yes. A simple crack can be managed, right?
Right.
So there are roles in this cybersecurity which will help you understand. Now there is vulnerability management role that I have worked on. I can, like, after our syllabus is completed, I'm going to give you details of my day-to-day working. You can just absorb those experience, add it to your resume if you want, or you can explain it to the interviewers that you have worked on vulnerability management. This is what that role looks like, and you will find it very easy to crack that interview or relate with an example. That's a later topic, but for now, are these three terms clear to you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Any doubts, anything that you want me to repeat here, let me know. It's been almost 10 days that we communicated, so just making you comfortable with an easy topic, but an important topic.
Very
Write
important.
this question down: threat, risk, and vulnerability difference. This can be asked in interview. Okay. So let's jump on to few question and see if you have understood the topic. Let me know which of the terms will be the correct answer for this one. There is a thief walking in your neighborhood who's looking to rob houses. What is it?
Right.
Threat.
It is a threat. Okay. There is no door in your house.
Vulnerability.
Vulnerability.
Vulnerability. A hacker is trying to break into a company server.
Rex. No.
Hacker is a
Threat.
threat.
That's a threat.
It's
That's
a
a
It's a
threat.
vulnerability.
threat.
Oh,
Oh,
Server
hacker
That's
is
a
a
is
threat.
threat.
vulnerable.
Yes, a hacker is a threat. Okay. An employee is using password 123.
vulnerability.
Vulnerability.
Vulnerability. Now, I will give you a scenario. Okay. You have to identify what is threat, what is risk, and what is vulnerability. So let's say there is a hacker. There is a server which is not patched since 7 years, and that customer data is stolen. Tell me what is threat, what is vulnerability, and what is risk here.
Data
Hacker
stolen
would
is a
be the
risk.
threat,
Software is vulnerability, and the
and the data would be
data will
risk.
be the risk.
Yes. What is the threat? Hacker is the threat.
The hacker.
Okay. The server which is not patched since 7 years,
Risk.
that is the vulnerability. That is the vulnerability. And customer data getting stolen, that is risk.
Risk.
Another example. There is a fire, there is no fire alarm, and the fire extinguisher is damaged.
Mhm.
What is risk, what is vulnerability, and what is threat?
Fire is a
Fire
threat.
is a
Fire is
threat.
That
risk.
Not
What is
having
no
vulnerability?
fire alarm is vulnerability.
Yeah.
No fire alarm is the vulnerability.
Mhm.
And what
Third
is the
thing.
risk?
Fire is the risk.
The damaged extinguisher that you have,
Yes.
that is a risk.
The fire is a risk.
Fire is not the risk. Fire
Mhm.
is a threat.
Threat.
Damaged
Uh-huh.
extinguisher is the risk.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now some cyber security questions.
Mhm.
Tell me, can a vulnerability cause damage by itself?
Not by itself. You need a threat.
Need a threat.
Yeah, it
You
needs
need
to
a
be
threat.
exploited by a threat.
Need a
Yeah.
threat.
Right. People still live without main doors, right? I've given you example. You have seen that. They just keep on curtains. Is it that they are vulnerable? Yes, they are vulnerable. But is it causing damage? No, not necessary. So a vulnerability cannot cause damage by itself. Remember this point.
Mhm.
Tell me, can a threat exist without a vulnerability?
Yeah. Hacker. They're
Yes.
everywhere.
Yes.
Yes.
If there is no threat, then the vulnerability may not be exploited.
Hmm. So answer is yes. What happens if there is a threat but no vulnerability?
Then there is no risk.
There is no risk, or there may not be any threat.
Yeah.
Okay. Can a risk with can there be risk without a threat? Or let me reframe this. Can risk exist without a threat?
No.
Yes.
No,
There is always risk of
no.
losing
Threat.
something.
Yes.
A risk will require a threat, right? And a vulnerability. If there
Yes.
is no vulnerability and no threat, what risk will you have? Right? When you know that you have proper doors, safety doors, security guards, armed security guards, dogs, is there any risk? No, there
No.
is no vulnerability, there is
No.
no threat. If everyone in this world acts normal, there are no there is no evil, there is no attackers or thief in your neighborhood. There is no risk, right?
Right, but the zero trust architecture says otherwise.
Yeah,
You don't trust
that
anyone.
is that is the architecture. It says that trust no one. It is like doubting your family members also, that they'll steal
Right.
from your house, right? That's a different methodology. Zero trust architecture. But risk will require a threat and a vulnerability in order to get exploited. That is the main thing. What happens if there is a vulnerability but there is no threat?
There won't be any risk.
Yes, but weakness will exist. Risk will be low, but weakness still exists because vulnerability is there. It is the later part that it will damage or it will do something. That is the later part. Clear? Threat, risk, and vulnerability. All good?
Good.
Okay. All right. So tomorrow we will see more on vulnerability side, and I'll show you about a few websites in which there are readily posted vulnerabilities. Now, what companies they do when they find vulnerabilities, they make it public after
Mhm.
patching. Okay, after patching, I'm telling you, so that others should benefit from it. Okay, now for example, there is a Microsoft product. Everyone in this world is using Microsoft product, like 90%, 95%. If Microsoft find that there is a vulnerability or there is a flaw in their software, they will have to make it public, right, to outside world. Or what will happen? All the Microsoft devices, all the softwares being used on Microsoft can get hacked because of it, because of that vulnerability getting exploited. So they make it public. They give recommendations how to patch it, what needs to be done, so that everyone is safe. We'll see some websites, not some websites. There is a common website
Is it
where
MITRE?
these things are posted. Which one?
MITRE? Is it MITRE?
Yes, yes. We're going to talk about MITRE. We are going to talk about CVE, all these things tomorrow. CVSS, CVE, vectors, and all these things. We'll see it tomorrow.